3, 2, 1.
All right, welcome to another installment of the Fragments of Silicon reviews. Up this week, 2 reviews. Up first is a game called Venture Kid. Let's see. I think we've talked about this a bit before, but if we haven't, it's Mega Man. It's Diet Mega Man. Like, not even gonna sugarcoat it. It's a game that's very clearly aping the everything of Mega Man.
In fairness, it does a better job of aping Mega Man than some games that have tried to ape Mega Man have done.
This is true. This is true. Not saying that's a bad thing, but it wears its influence on its sleeve and then some.
Yeah, I'd say the biggest downsides of this compared to Mega Man is that the stage order is, I mean, you can go back to previous stages, but the order that stages are available in is completely linear. And some of the stages, it feels like, are designed as if it was, I mean, assuming that you'd still get the items you get after beating the same bosses, which, since the items are not actually from the bosses, doesn't have to be the case. But if that were the case, it seems like there's things you can only get by using the freeze ball on an enemy and then jump on them in stages before you get the freeze ball. And there are things that need to be blown up with a rocket or a bomb, although there are dropped bombs in stages before you get an explosive weapon.
Mm-hmm. And also worth noting, Venture Kid is not strictly speaking a new game. That is to say, it got released onto Steam. Well, it got released on mobile first, and I know this because there are a lot of walkthroughs for this game. And I know it's a short game, but it's like walkthroughs aren't created this quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like, and the walkthroughs I've seen that are like they've got mobile controls. This was originally a mobile game, and its design does reflect that. It's got a lot in common with a Mega Man clone we reviewed last year called Clash Force. In that regard, though I will say the level design itself is much better than Clash Force. Not because Clash Force, it was all left to right the whole way through. Things do get a bit more dynamic in Venture Kid. Like the third stage, you actually do have some non-linear level design. And like, if you follow, I suppose, the most straightforward path, you're going to hit an endless loop. Now, that endless loop is actually tied to the secret collectibles of this game, because each normal level has a treasure to collect that factors into the end game, and those are hidden off in various fashions. I won't specifically reveal anything here, but you do have to figure out where a hidden switch is in order to get the treasure of level 3. It's like most of the treasures aren't that hard to find, but it is a step above. Well, honestly, what some Mega Mans were doing.
Indeed.
if I'm being objective about it, because the classic Mega Man games didn't feature anything like that. That's more a Mega Man X design choice. So it
Yes.
is. So it is good to see that this game isn't haranguing itself on retro design choices.
Yeah.
For the most part.
There were stages with multiple routes in Classic Mega Man, but the desert stage, particularly the one we're talking about, is pretty creative.
Yeah, it's like. That being said, the actual gameplay is pretty simple. And
it's jump and shoot, man.
Yep. like if you see the mobile, there's just 2 directions and 2 virtual buttons: jump and shoot.
They do a little bit to make it more interesting with stuff like there are items you can pick up that are like bombs or hourglasses that temporarily freeze enemies.
Yeah, honestly,
but that's about it.
Honestly, if the level design reminded me of any game, it wasn't a Mega Man game. It was Darkwing Duck for the NES.
I was going to say, a little bit of it feels kind of DuckTales-y, and that's the same family of...
It does.
Yeah. I mean, on the downside, if you're really looking for something in the line of Mega Man, this game is a bit on the easy side.
It is.
It's like, I don't think it really kicks in a really good challenge until about the final level, the Wily stages.
And
even then, some of the design there was just bad. That is to say, there's a route with these laser columns, and they didn't disappear. So what ended up happening is, it's like Quickman stage where you have to go fast, or else you're going to get zapped by them.
Yeah.
I actually got trapped, by this crisscrossing laser, and it didn't disappear. So I was literally stuck there. It was either die or reset situation, and that just shouldn't have occurred.
Yeah, it shouldn't have.
That aside, if you're going to experience your share of cheap deaths, it's going to be through the Mega Man staple of insta-death spikes.
And water.
I'm like, I don't recall the water being particularly hazardous.
In the first level, I fell into it, and it was an instant death, just like a spike.
Yeah, water and quicksand are also shorthands for this is an instant death pit, even though it doesn't make sense for it to be, or even though it's not at the bottom of the screen or whatever.
Yeah, but the game isn't a bastard about those in comparison to spikes.
One thing in the trailer it showed is there's actually a spike ball that you can accidentally touch it, and it will kill you.
Indeed. And once you get to the later levels, it gets creative in their designs to poke you.
Yes.
That said, there are a few levels where you can kind of grind lives if you need to, and you can buy more lives from the shop because, like some of the later games, this has a shop, and it's actually accessed during pause menus during gameplay rather than between stages. So
that being said, their item selection is a bit limited. Basics are energy refills and extra lives.
Yeah, the important things are there's an energy balancer that lets you pick up item for weapons without having the weapons. There's a sub tank, and there are life extensions that are incredibly expensive and pretty much designed for once you already maxed out on other stuff.
Yep.
But there's also you can buy extra lives or sub tanks. You can buy a thing that refills your life when you run out of life.
Yep.
Which is kind of... I don't think there's ever been a Mega Man game that had that specifically, at least. But
so what does it just basically res you on the nearest safe platform?
I don't
No.
know. It's a little bit more expensive than I want to spend since I'm
It
saving up for
revives
life
you
extension.
instantly, no matter where you are. You can be in the middle of a boss battle, and it'll revive you right there.
Yeah.
But like, if
It's
you fall down a pit, does it still engage or?
Good question. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think it's strictly hit point based, but I'm not sure. Like, it might only work if you die from hit point loss.
Yeah, it's basically a second life bar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is a thing in this game that is most Mega Man games you can take more than 4 hits.
Well, and also the like saving a new system, and this is real generous.
That being said, the checkpoint system does play out like a Mega Man game. You know,
Yep.
got beginning stage, mid stage, and boss door checkpoints.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Probably the biggest disappointment is the weapon selection, or rather, like the items you get for beating bosses.
Yeah, they're not really related to much. I mean, they do have utility purposes. Like, there's the freeze orb lets you climb enemies. The boomerang lets you retrieve items.
Yeah, but they're a lot more practical or situational.
Yeah, they're not particularly great as weapons.
They're not.
Like, I will say the best items. They're not even necessarily weapons because 3 of them are not weapons. They're the double jump, they're the spike shoes, and the shield.
Yep.
The double jump is pretty self-explanatory. The spike shoes, those allow you to walk on spikes.
Yep.
My second guess would have been, jump on enemies, but that works too.
Yeah, this item will be your best friend, and you will be making a lot of use of it.
Is it from the last stage?
Oh God, yes.
Yes, that will save you in the last stages.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, it is the 7th item you get, if I'm recalling correctly. So it does show up pretty game.
Now, does it use energy or like that, or is it?
Yeah.
Yes, you every time you walk on spikes, it'll take a bar of energy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And well, to be more precise, every time you land on a spike, it'll take energy. You can just walk on them; you'll be fine.
Yeah. And the shield reflects shocks. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the best power-ups do show up at the end stages or the latter stages. That being said, the bosses, some are more challenging than others.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of an uneven spike, if I'm being honest. Like
Indeed.
Like that minecart boss, for example.
Yeah, I hated that one.
Yeah, that's because of the insta-death bullshit.
Yeah.
And the auto-scrolling. Also wasn't a particularly big fan of the final boss fight, if only because that just kept on going.
It did. This wouldn't stop.
Just won't go into details, but
yeah. Just see for yourself.
And yeah, this is very much an earlier Mega Man game rather than you don't have charge shots, and there's only like the one set of bosses and then the final boss stage, which is really only one stage apparently.
I suppose
there's no second castle or anything.
I suppose if I have to compare it to any Mega Man, it'd be Mega Man 9.
That's true. It does kind of have enough moderner things.
Yeah, because it's got the core mechanics of Mega Man and a few later flourishes, but yeah, it's more around the point of Mega Man 2.
One thing that this game really loves compared to Mega Man is slopes.
Look what we can do with our fancy technology.
Yes.
This would have blown your fucking minds in the 80s, wouldn't it?
This also means that charge shots are not a thing in this game, not even as a weapon selection. Right.
And even the classic Mega Man games had, like, Pharaoh's shot was chargeable, and that was Mega Man, what, 3, 4?
Yeah. The Heatman's weapon.
Yeah, Heatman's weapon was 2, and that was in Mega Man 2.
Yeah.
You know, it's not quite a 1-to-1 from Mega Man to Venture Kidding,
which is, good, but
yeah, it's more a 0.9. Like, it's not quite Mega Man, but you can definitely see, the Mega Man in it, in all of the facets. Now, and as such, the graphics. If you're not seeing the trailer, by the way, there's a couple reasons we're not capturing footage for this one. It's a full screen game, and Eddie can't do those. But apparently, there's also a OBS issue in streaming this game.
Mm-hmm.
So, even if that weren't the case, we don't want.
Yeah, there are a couple of comments on the store page that say that there's a problem where, like, OBS, the game crashes when you leave the shop if you're playing with OBS on.
Right. So, better safe than sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so, the game has the 8-bit retro style you'd expect from such a Mega Man homage. I'm like, and in those terms, it's perfectly serviceable.
The color schemes are generally appealing.
Yeah.
It's not doing anything too amazing with the retro aesthetic, but it is at least justifying it, unlike some other games.
Mm-hmm.
It's just outside of that, there's not much to say about the graphics. It's like and the music, similarly, is in the 8-bit retro style as well. A lot of high octane chip tunes. It basically sounds like a Mega Man game as well.
Yeah.
I was enjoying the music pretty well, so.
Same here.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, it's music done in the key of Mega Man.
Which is generally enjoyable.
Yeah. Like I said, that's basically the core statement of this game and of this review. It's like, if you like Mega Man, if you don't mind Diet Mega Man for, your mobile device, PC, or even consoles, those versions got released this week as well. This game is almost worth a pickup. And I say almost because probably the biggest sticking point for me is the price. Like, it's clocking in at $9.99.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like,
can't agree with that.
Yeah, this game, like you'll be able to beat this game in about 2 to 3 hours.
Now, if it was like a $3 to $5, maybe.
Let me go check the mobile version because I'm willing to bet it's cheaper.
I can guarantee they're not trying to peddle that for $10.
Well, you never know until you look.
Yeah.
But, yep. Not surprising, the mobile version of Venture Kid is clocking in at $5.
Yeah, that'd be more respectable.
It makes more sense, yeah.
Yeah, which is about the price I'd agree to get this. Like $10? No. There's just not enough meat on these bones to justify such a price. Unfortunate. It's a good game for while it lasts. It just doesn't last very long.
There's multiple difficulty options as well, but still, yeah, that doesn't really justify it.
Yeah, it's like, and didn't play it on a mobile device, but the game is simple enough where it's probably functional. Like, I'm not going to say that playing this on a touchscreen is going to be optimal, if only.
The virtual controller looks way better than some virtual controllers I've seen.
Right, it's just, you're still probably going to have the inherent, oh, hey, my thumbs are blocking the action.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, looking at the virtual controls here, they are more sensibly laid out than some other things I've seen, where, hey, let's lay them on the actual fucking gameplay and, block your fucking vision. Yeah, I do not know why that is a thing.
Yeah.
Like, but, and it does support controllers on mobile, or at least on the iOS version. Like, let me just check the Android version to see if everything lines up. It should. Weird. Let's see. It's in the iOS, not the Android version. Here, let's see. Play.
Live research.
Well, it's more that, yeah, I'm. Oh no, that those are not the game. Weird. I can't seem to find it.
I'm looking at Google Play on my phone. It's not here. Doesn't seem to have an Android version.
Or, well, it says there's an Android version. It's just that may have been taken down.
Unless it's in the Amazon App Store.
Let me check.
I'm looking.
Nope. I get the Venture Brothers, but
that's for later, friends. That's for later. Well,
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So, Venture Kid is a decent Mega Man alike.
I guess one thing I would mention, if you're playing the PC version, get a controller.
Yeah.
The keyboard bindings are probably some of the worst I've ever used.
And there's no real customizability for controls or anything else in this game.
You can, but it's kind of a pain.
I can't speak to that because I played this game with a controller. So
yeah,
because you're smart.
Yeah. Granted, it's an Xbox 360 controller. I'm kind of in between Xbox One controllers. I'm pleased to say the Xbox One controller itself has arrived. I'm just waiting on the plug-and-play stuff.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Which is taking a lot longer because I inadvertently ordered it from a third party. It was hey, buy this, get this, but didn't look at the fine details, and apparently this thing is shipping and coming in the middle of the month. So, fun times. Anyway, final verdict on Venture Kid. 5, 6 on a number scale. Solid enough game. Kind of cut down by its lack of content and its price. At least.
Also, it's a little weird playing through a Mega Man game where it's actually people you're killing. Sometimes.
I suppose.
It's not a big deal. That just struck me as a minor.
At least there's no blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, it's not like a gory thing. It's weird to be playing a very Mega Man-ish game and suddenly get to like literally Karate Dude throwing Hadokens at you in the first stage.
At any rate, We would recommend the iOS version if you're going to buy.
Mm-hmm.
Or wait for a sale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, wait for a sale because it'll probably be $5 there, like on say the eShop or Steam. But yeah, can't really recommend the $10 price. All right, so that'll about do it for this game. Um, be sure to tune in after the break as we review Supipara Chapter 2. And until then, we wish you good gaming.